What's up? What's up? What's up, people? We're back. Another long waiting interview. We took the whole month of September off. It is now October 2020, and we're back with a great interview. We have a special one for y'all. I know I took a hiatus for a little bit. It was my birthday month last month. Had to relax, had to, make some trips and, just settle down from the hustle and bustle of life. But we back. RC9 at 9. It's your boy RC9 Interviews, and we have a special guest for y'all today. He's the one and only Philly the Barber. We're gonna bring him right on in, and we're really gonna get into it. There's a lot of things to talk about. I had the pleasure of working with him in his shop, really getting the background of his life, just business, family man, and we're gonna touch all that tonight. So thank y'all for joining. Thank you for just assembling yourselves here on the RC9. There's no other place you'd rather be than with the RC9. Y'all know the drill. Tell a friend to tell another friend to tell another friend to come on in. If you have any questions during the duration of this interview, go ahead. Please put it in that box at the bottom with the question mark on it. I'm going to read your questions, and we're going to get right into it. So let's see if the man of the hour is here, Mr. Philly the Barber himself. And we're going to get right into it. All right. Hope everybody's doing well. Let me see where he's at. Where he at? What's the check? Where's everybody from around here? I want to know where everybody's from who's so kindly to check in. Where y'all from? What's going on? How's everything going? The summertime is over. And we in the fall. So it's safe to say I haven't did an interview since the summer. This is my first interview of the fall. And Philly the Barber is here. He's on the check-in. Let's get it. Here we go. There we go. There we go. There you go.
What's going on, brother?
The legend. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Philly the Barber in the building.
What's going on, brother? What's going on?
What's going on, my brother? How's everything going, man?
Everything's going, man. I can't call it, man.
Yes, sir.
Staying humble, keep my head down and grinding, brother. That's it. How are you?
It's a pleasure to have you here. Just telling people I took a hiatus for like the whole month of September. It was my birthday month, so I stopped doing interviews for a while and took a little break. This was my first interview in the fall, and I'm so glad to start the interviews back up with you, man.
My God.
Yes, sir.
Likewise.
We had a lot of talks, some grown man talks, offline, and I said we need to bring this to the forefront. We need to bring it.
Oh, absolutely. Things that people want to know. Just life stuff, man. Everybody go through it, nobody talk about it. So let's get to it, man.
That's right. So not talking about it. We're gonna be about it. So without further ado, I want to introduce everybody who is joining us here on the RC9 at 9. We have the one and only Philly the Barber. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Philly the Barber. Yes. And I'm your boy RC9. We're gonna get right into it. So without further ado, just tell them, who you are, where you from, and what you do, and we're gonna get right into the questions.
Okay. Well, Philly the Barber. Last name is Philadelphia. Everybody always asks me what part of Philly I'm from, but last name is Philadelphia. From East Orange, New Jersey. Now I reside in West Orange. Bought a house out here in the West Orange. I'm 30. I was about to say I'm 30-something. I'm 41. I'm 41. Yeah, man, I'm 41. And, just a regular guy. That's it. Working, making things work, man. Grinding. 3 little girls, of course. 9, 2. Wonderful wife, Contessa, Philadelphia also. Shout out to her. Holding the kids down right now as I'm down here doing this interview, family structure, man. Stand on that. And
that's right.
That's about it.
He said family structure, man. He's stand on that. That's what's up. And the reason why I wanted to bring you on here, man, because you're more than a barber. I said, Philly the Barber. You're an entrepreneur. You out right now. You in Studio 77, your own studio, your own barbershop location. And like you said, West Orange, New Jersey, y'all. So we're gonna give you the information. If y'all need a haircut, y'all need some hair coloring going on, y'all need some facials. He is the go-to guy in the area, man. So we're gonna get into that. But we want to know about the making of Philly, because we had some extensive offline conversations, and you know, a lot of things happen that cause a lot of people to transition their lives and readjust, refocus during the corona, you know, the quarantine and the COVID-19 hit. And so a lot of people was impacted in a lot of different ways. It affected family structures. It affected the way we live our life. You know, the way we parent, the way, you know, the way we work, the way we shop. Everything. It affected every area of life.
Total shift in life, brothers. Total shift.
Yes. So tell me, you know, before we get into, you know, the meat of who you are and your foundations, how did it personally, the COVID-19 affect you?
Oh man. Well, it affected me in a way that, number one, my wife works in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was kind of scary. You know,
Okay.
at the same time, you know, her coming home with stories, you know, things of that nature. And I always told her, I said, well, fear and faith can't live in the same house.
Right.
You know, either you're gonna fear it or you're gonna have faith in God.
Okay.
That's it. You know, I do believe that everyone has their time on this earth. And, you know, I had to kind of calm her down from anxiety and stuff like that. A lot of my customers was dealing with a lot of anxiety or whatever.
Okay.
But it affected us in a way we had to close down our barbershop in Montclair, 3D Barbershop. Shout out to my boys. Boo, Pat, Bridge, Joe, my people, always. But it affected, you know, Northern Jersey, whole New Jersey, you know, only the United States was affected by it. And we weren't an essential business, so we had to shut down.
Okay.
And being that I was just purchased my house, I wasn't given too many options to pay my mortgage, you know.
Okay.
So I wasn't gonna leave it upon my wife to handle everything. So
Right.
I decided to put a chair in my basement, start off light, and from there everything just snowballed, you know.
Wow.
Started covering transit workers, cops, doctors, nurses.
So your whole, so you was in a shop, and you said, because you know, it wasn't an essential business, considered essential business, they shut you down.
Shutting us down. First they shut down North.
Okay.
And when they shut down North, that was, I knew we were next.
Okay.
So I started kind of thinking ahead and saying, you know what, something got to give. You know, I'm never the type to ever sit down and just watch things happen. I'm always proactive. Always been that way. Even if you're trying something new, whatever, I'm always trying something.
Right.
So sometimes when you stay proactive, you stay ahead of the curve. You know, you're a little bit more safe. You know, and I took that risk.
Okay.
You know, and you know, I had to make sure that I had my alcohol, paper towels,
Right.
you know, gloves,
We
masks.
talking about rubbing alcohol, y'all.
Rubbing alcohol, 99% too. And I was, you know, a lot of the people were bringing me things too, you know, outside of me getting supplies, still bring me stuff and, you know, keeping me updated. And, you know, from there, like I said, I was blessed. I was blessed that, you know, I had this situation and it was like sink or swim. You know, what are you going to do in any situation in life? What are you going to do? You know, are you going to sit back and let it happen to you? Or are you going to be the one that do the happening? You're going to be the one to do the work, or you're going to be the one to go forward and walk into fear instead of running away from it.
Right. So let me interject real quick. So even when everything's going on, stuff is shutting down. You like, you seen the forecast, you seen the wave come. You said Newark shut down. He's like, you know what? Your mind said, you know what? We're gonna be next. If Newark shutting down, they definitely gonna shut us down. So you seen a wave of things shutting down one by one. It's almost like a domino effect happening.
Absolutely.
You said you spoke to your wife, and you said you know, you said faith and fear basically can't coexist, pretty much.
No, exactly.
So now you spoke that to your wife, and you know, you guys are one. You are a unit. How did the kids how did it impact the kids?
Sometimes we teach our kids how to react in certain situations, right? Mm-hmm. Kids learn from us.
Okay.
So I had to keep a cool head, so did my wife. We never lied to them, but we make sure put everything into perspective for them. You know, and my daughters are they're very understanding. They understand that life happens, you
Right.
know? And I try to teach that to them, like, look, listen, things are going to happen in life, you know, and you can't overreact and you can't underreact. Sometimes you just have to either go with the flow, learn to swim,
That's
or
right.
you're going to swim. But either way, you have to keep a level head, no matter what.
Absolutely.
So I reassured them, I said, Mom's going to be fine. You know, Daddy's going to be fine. You girls are going to be fine. And we're going to get through it. You know, it's all in how you do it.
Right.
You know, so they were fine. The kids were fine. So, you
Right.
know, that wasn't too much of an obstacle for them. You know, they always ask questions, of course, but
Wow.
before I go upstairs, I spray down, you know, wash my hands, take my smock off, you know, go in, shower and all that good stuff. Then I go play with them or whatever. But I have a separate entrance from the house, so they were never able to come downstairs, you know.
Wow.
Separate entrance. They knew not to come down here until I came upstairs, and that's how we set it up.
Wow. Wow, that's a you know, it's great to hear that, you know, you kept a level head during these times, and that you were able to really do what you're supposed to do as a man, take the lead and, you know, bunker down the family. Like, listen, you know, this is what it is. Ain't no need to give into to fear. We just have to make the necessary adjustments and make it do what it do. And you being the head of the house, so you set the tone for everybody else, which I believe, you know, set your wife at ease, you know, and also kids, they fall in alignment. That's great, because you hear so many stories about, you know, people start freaking out. You're dealing with, everybody doesn't have a household with kids with the mother and father are present. You know, there's some people in the house with single parents, struggling, may have not only one but multiple children.
Right.
So it's definitely fortunate that you guys were able to, you know, get in alignment and still make the necessary adjustments to weather this particular storm. Though we're not clear out of it yet.
Not clear yet. Not clear yet. But not by a long shot. But for now, right now, you know, we're all right. You know.
And this is the reason why I just want to say, this is the reason why we do this, because, you know, a person like yourself, during this time, during the quarantine, I interviewed a lot of people. You know, always want to get people takes of how they weather the storm, because you never know who's watching and who gains strength, or maybe some tidbits of, you know what, let me try this because he did this, or, you know, it's not as bad as it appears. Let me just change my mindset, change the narrative in my mind, and readjust and move accordingly. So
absolutely,
definitely want to commend you for that. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back a little bit, because we want to talk about Philly the Barber. We want to take it back where it all started as a barber.
What, you want to take it back to 11 and 12 years old? You want to take it?
Yeah, we about to go back to the future. Let's get it. Tell us
man,
how you got started in cutting here, because you're an OG in the game now, brother.
Damn, you're gonna be an OG, man. Wow. My father, actually, Guyanese, you know, my family's from Guyana, you know, so my father used to cut our hair.
Okay.
I don't know if many people know this technique, but it was a straight razor, used a big razor, and a comb, and he would wet our hair.
Hey, hold on, you talking about a comb like this or another comb?
A comb like that, yes.
Comb like
and
that?
He will hold he will hold the razor on the comb and cut through your hair.
Ooh, got to
So
be
that hurt. Then he would take the straight razor, give you a line. But it was a horrible haircut. But we took it. It was free. You know, growing up, we didn't have much. You know, so after a while, he upgraded to some clippers, cheap clippers. It didn't matter. And after a while, he would, you know, my mom and my dad split. You know, they were separated. But my father used to still sometimes come over to the house and cut our hair. And I used to hold the clippers and put them in a sneaker box on top of the cabinet, right?
Okay.
So, you know, going to school after that now. Kids got crack, you know, growing up in school. Right. You get cracked on so bad you want to leave school. Like, and this is elementary school, okay?
Wow.
Yeah. So I got cracked on real bad in school. You know, like that like my father was like, oh, Stevie wanted to cut your hair, blah blah blah. Exactly. So I went home, tried to fix it as much as I can, you know. And I got a little better at it. As you know, every time I cut my hair, I will try to fix it. You know, and I got a little bit better. Started cutting my cousin and the kids on the block for like $2, $3. You know.
Oh,
That's what
you an entrepreneur, hustle from the
and
start.
I was on the porch with my box of clippers. I used to save my money and buy more clippers, you know, try to upgrade every time I got a little bit better, mastering my skill a little bit. And I was terrible. You know, I was a kid. You know, I was 12, going on 13 at the time. And after that, it kind of snowballed. You know, I would go to the barber shop and look at my favorite barbers, you know, study them, ask them questions. And one of my favorite barbers, I used to go to John's barber shop in East Orange. And one of my favorite barbers was Maurice.
Okay.
Maurice, he retired, but he gave me my first professional pair of clippers.
Really? What was the name brand of the clippers?
Andes.
Okay.
They were Andes, but they were like very light, flat blade.
Okay.
And he gave them to me. I think that was the best pair of clippers I ever had in my life because it was like my first professional pair. A professional barber gave me some clippers, you know, and he was like, you know, try to, man, he gave them to me, you know, and I cherish those clippers. I still have them to this day. I still have them. Yeah. And I used to go there. I used to ask questions.
In a case on the wall somewhere. Bronze.
Yeah. I should, right? Even to this day, when I see him, I thank him, man, because I think he gave me the initiative and that confidence to keep going, you know?
Right.
And when I would watch him and his technique, and I would go home and give him free haircuts just to try it out, you know? And as I'm building, unbeknownst to me, I'm building clientele at the same time. I didn't know. Okay. I was just doing something that I like because, you know, I like drawing. So to me, it was a different form of art. And from there, just kept going. You know, I was cutting out of my house for a long time. And I got my opportunity when my friend came to me and said somebody was looking for a barber. He was willing to let me work at the shop. I had to go to school first. And it set me up, man. It was, you know, so that was it. And
so let me interject real quick. So at what point, and I know you say you started doing people around the way, cousins, whatever have you. At what point did it become a passion versus just hustling just to get some extra change? Because when you picked it up because it was like a corrective agent because your dad was jacking you up. So you said, you know, I got to revive myself. I'm tired of getting cracked on.
Here's the funny thing, and that's what intrigued me the most about it because I used to always draw, right? I used to always draw pictures, you know, portraits, stuff like that. I used to draw. When I picked up those clippers, like I said, it was another form of art to me. So I wanted to perfect it. And it wasn't about money. It was the passion that I had behind it because I wanted to learn.
Wow.
I wanted to learn. You know, it wasn't about money. It was never about money at first to me. You know, I never looked at the barber and said, oh, look, they make a lot of money. I need to be like them. No. I love doing it, you know, and I like the way people felt when I was done. You know?
So your approach was different. It wasn't just for cutting hair. You looked at it as a form of art.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
And I still get the same feeling to this day. Same feeling I had before. I still have it now, you know?
Wow, that's great, man. I mean, that's a different approach. I mean, I don't have too many personal conversations with barbers, but you know, I know that there are barber competitions out there and people really get it in. But I wonder if those type of barbers viewed it from the start as art versus just like, you know what, I'm pretty good at this. But you, like you said, you was always into drawing, so you had that artistic vibe about you anyway. Right. But you just took it to the head, literally.
Yeah, it was a new challenge for me.
Right.
You know, it was a new challenge for me, and I took it on, and it came natural because I wanted it. You know, like I said, I used to really sit up there and study different barbers, and then I would try different techniques.
Now, when did you start studying barbers? Was that something that you started studying as you got into it, or did you had your eyes were set on it beforehand? Like, did you have any barbers that you look up to around that time?
I did. I had barbers I looked up to, but one thing about us is we didn't really go to the barber shop much. Our father was cutting our hair. Right. So when I finally was saving my money to go to the barber shop, now, mind you, I'm cutting hair now, right? I'm cutting hair. This young kid cutting hair for $2, you know, and I'm saving my lunch money to go to the barber shop to get a proper haircut, you know, and as I'm sitting there now, I'm intrigued at how things work. I'm looking at these barbers cut hair all day,
Wow.
right. And they sit down to eat, then they get back up, they cutting hair, they're talking, they're jabbing at each other, some people cracking, fathers coming in with their sons. And I'm sitting there, and I never experienced this before. One of my friends walked in with his father, right? Now, mind you, I never went to the barbershop. Me and my father kind of had a strange relationship.
Okay.
It wasn't the best until later on in life. We got to know him. But my friend, one of my best friends, walked into the barbershop with his father, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I said, wow, his father brings him to the barbershop too. And that's the very first time that I've seen somebody give a tip for a haircut.
Wow.
And then, I never was taught that. I was never taught to be gratuitous,
Mm-hmm.
So that was something different for me. And I was like, wow, he really got $3 extra for that, That's back in the early 90s. But I'm like, wow,
Yeah, it was mind blowing to me. I was like,
yeah. Yeah, and I'm like, wow, he just got $10 for a haircut, $13. And this is, I'm looking at them like, wow, like to me they were like gods,
Right.
And I wanted that level of expertise. I wanted that level of confidence. I wanted everything they gave that person, their customer, I wanted to be able to give it to somebody.
Okay. Wow. So right there, it just seemed like your whole mindset was just different. Like, it's like you was a sponge and you were just taking in like just the different techniques, the interactions. Like you were just in study mode. It seemed like you were called to do this.
Yeah, I feel like it, man.
Yeah.
I feel like it. Yeah.
Even the circumstances that led you up, because I remember, my father probably want to check in here somewhere. I think I seen him jump in here. I remember getting them father haircuts, and my head's been an example many times. I had these railroad parts going up. He got better as the years went along, but I tell you one thing: once I got a chance to get to that barbershop and get a proper fade.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And to me, it was all about the experience, though. I latched on to the two best barbers to me at the time was Steve and Maurice. At the time, I got the barbershop, and I used to, study them. And, it just so happened, after a while, years later, I ended up cutting my father. He became a customer, So see how things come back full circle, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He said, Pops, you hooked me up. You did the best you know how, but I got you. Sit down
got him now.
right here.
Yeah. He started coming through when I first started working at the barbershop, he started coming through, checking me out, having me cut his hair. But I get into that later on too. That's the story within the story itself. Yeah.
Right. That's like part 2 of this whole segment right here.
Yeah, that's like part 2, 3, and 4, honestly.
Right.
Honestly.
That's amazing, man. So like you was coming up the ranks, and how many barbershops did you wind up going through? Because I know I talked to a lot of hairstylists, some ladies, and they didn't go through 2, 3, 4, 5, salons.
So here's my logic with that. Okay. Well, before I even get into that, I'm going to back it up a little bit. I was around, let's say around 16, 17 I just graduated, and I went to Essex County. Really didn't like it too much. Then I switched over. I went over to DeVry.
Okay.
Didn't work out, whatever the case may be. It just didn't resonate with me, Right. So I started working at this shipping company in Union. Now, mind you, I was doing data entry, and it paid maybe around $600-700 a week at the time. Mind you, I'm around 17, 18, right?
Right.
So
that's good money.
It's good money, right? This is good money, mind you. So, but I hated the job. They were very racist, and some days you're either doing nothing or you're doing 3,500 packages. You're labeling, right? So that was the job. Okay. So, very high stressful job, but pays very well. Get into it. One of my buddies came to me and said, look, his barber was looking for someone to work in his barber shop. He's looking for a barber. I said, really? He said, yeah. I said, okay. Went, spoke to the guy's name was Mahir. Mahir's barber shop on Orange Road in Montclair.
Okay.
Went to man, spoke to him. He said, okay, bring in somebody. So I brought in one of my boys, gave him a haircut. And he said, whenever you want to start, let me know. I quit my job that next day.
He was about it.
So listen, the first week I was there, I made maybe about $120 something, which is not a lot of money.
Right. So you made $120 something. Now you just said you're making a couple of hundred a week.
700, almost $700 a week.
700 a week.
Right.
Wow.
So mind you, listen, the feeling I had making that $120 something compared to that $600 something, night and day. I was so happy with the money that I've earned. And on that day, I never looked back.
All right.
I never looked back.
You was happy with the money that you earned.
Right. Absolutely.
That's with the barbershop. So
yes.
So you earned the money at the barbershop. What were you doing? How did you translate the money you was receiving from the job?
Labor. Even though it wasn't a hard job, it was labor. You know, because I didn't want to be there. My spirit said, I'm in the wrong place. One of my boys is saying, oh, get a new car, you good? I said, no, I don't want a new car because I don't plan on staying here. He said, are you crazy? People kill for this job. And like, my neighbor got me that job, you know, and it was the wrong move. To this day, I never regret leaving that place. It was the best decision I ever made in my early years.
Wow. What I want to ask you now, you took that step of faith. I mean, you know, you like that job, even though he's making a buku bucks at that young age. Like that was just grounds for anybody typically at that age to say, I ain't going nowhere. I'm getting this bread. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do. Yada yada. What was your home training like? Like what did your parents instill, your mom, your pops, or relatives instill into you that
entrepreneurship?
Entrepreneurship. Really?
Yeah, my mom was always the one to say, no matter what you do, just put 1,000% into it. You can do. My mother always told me you can do anything. No matter what it is, you can do anything. Nothing can stop you in this world.
So that was
That
was ingrained into you from a kid.
Absolutely. And you know what? Not everybody's going to agree with your decisions. And that's fine, because that's your path.
Right.
You understand? That's your path. So when it's your path, that's your journey. That's your experience. Don't expect people to be around you within your experience. You know?
Ooh, come on, you're dropping nuggets now.
Yeah, she always supported that, you know. So to get back to your question, I've worked in a barbershop since 98 to 2020, so 22 years, about almost 23 years.
Come on.
And I worked in 2 barbershops.
Only 2 in that time?
2.
Oh,
that's
man,
it.
You was out here moving like Jordan. Only 2 teams.
2, that's it. Because my thing is, you know, I don't care how good you are. You got to be consistent. You got to be convenient, you know, and you got to be on time. I used to struggle in my early years being on time, you know, but I apply it to everything I do now. And no matter how good you are, if you move, you're going to lose customers. It just happens. People like convenience. You know, some going to follow you. Most will probably follow you. But every time you move, you lose customers. And you have to start making up for what you've lost. To me, number one, location is everything. And when I did move, only moved a couple doors down from where I was.
Wow.
Right.
Well, so 22 years, two barbershops you been affiliated with. Now, obviously, you have your own. So it's safe to say you definitely paid your dues. You definitely paid your dues.
Pay my dues, man. Yeah, absolutely.
But what I want to rewind back real quick. So during the time you first started, got your first opportunity to actually be in a physical barbershop outside of doing it in your home, right? Growing up, you were young. What lessons did you learn? How did you maintain a level head from a young cat coming up in a barbershop game? You know, quitting that job, never looking back. Like, what trials and tribulations? Like, did you ever, like you said, you had to learn a lot of life lessons. You learned some things from your OGs, the barbers there, and things of that nature. But how did you maintain a level head and just say and stick with it for 22 years? Other than you loving the art and looking at an art form. Because a lot of people get into things, you young, you know, with girls, and distractions, and, you know, streets, whatever it is, partying. Like, what are some humps that you had to overcome to maintain your position where you at, to get to where you at now?
I'm a pretty mild-mannered person, period. I'm pretty level-headed. And I think that got me through a lot of situations. A lot of the things that I went through, keeping that level head kept me, how can I say, kept me level-headed. I mean, I guess I like to observe other people and learn different things from people. Whereas, for example, if someone have a similar situation as mine, you know, I will look back on how they reacted to it, you know, what came of it, you know, and I try to apply it to myself. You know, it's no need to go, you know, if I have 8 more customers for the day, why am I gonna get mad at this one situation I can't control? You know, because if I lose it now and get into it with somebody, what happens? I might have to leave for the day. I got scars.
Right.
You know, I'm too mad now. I'm missing money. Too many negative things happen after you don't think.
Right.
Right. And it goes way further than your manhood. So people say manhood, like, oh, you disrespecting me or whatever. You know what? Fine. Say what you want to say. Say it out there. You don't touch me.
Right.
Next. You know, who's next? My man Jermaine. Let me just give a shout out to my man Jermaine. Always in Boost GT500.
Yeah, he said his mom was scared to let you cut him.
That guy been with me almost since day one, and to this day, you know. So 23 years I've been cutting on that. In there, he's been there with me. So, wow. But yeah,
So you was getting into it. So you learned a lot of things. You were very disciplined. Obviously, you had some good upbringing. Your family taught you about entrepreneurship, which, you know, they obviously instilled into you, which was able to let you to leave the job you was at, to, you know, go venture off and to really follow your passion, to do, you know, what your heart was leading you to do. And the thing I heard about, you said something in your spirit wasn't right. And many of us have that intuition, and hear that voice, and tend to ignore it because we go by what we see and what we look like security versus following our real passion.
Right.
And that's where I think a lot of us go off course and wind up living a life full of regrets because they ignored that voice for so long because they went for what they saw in the present versus being true to themselves. Right.
And I think a lot of people struggle with that.
Right.
You know, trying to please and trying to appease everyone around you. You know, people that really don't matter.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, sometimes you're trying to appease someone and they don't even feel that way about their own self. So it's a losing battle. You know, you're putting energy in something that's not gonna receive it.
Right.
You know, so why not put that same energy into yourself and forget everything? You know. Because at the end of the day, if you don't love you the way that you should, you cannot pour that love into somebody else.
Wow.
You know, you won't be able to.
Like I say, you can't give what you don't have.
You can't give what you don't have. You know, you can't. You definitely can't give what you don't have. So, wow. I mean, and I've learned that later on in life because I was one of those people.
Okay.
You know, I was used to, well, how they got that in? Where did they get that from? Dad, well, if I did this, and you know, but then I started. My mom always told me, she said, never be jealous or ask about someone else's possession because you never know how they got it.
Come on.
Right? You never know how they got it. You only see them driving a nice car. You know, you only see them buying out the bar, you know, but then you might see them on the news.
Right.
You know, you might see them on some old fraudulent stuff. You never know. You know, so, you know, just be grateful for what you have, work hard for what you have, and hold on to what you have. And that's it. And then when
what you have, work hard for what you have, and hold on to what you have. Y'all taking notes? Be grateful for what you have, work hard for what you have, and hold on to what you have.
Hard work, you appreciate it more. You know, you appreciate it more. You know, and then when you really realize what's going on and you get into yourself, and you listen to your spirit, and you bring everything into alignment, which is mind, body, soul. When you bring everything into alignment, you start to realize what's important. And a lot of the things material things that you used to like don't matter.
Wow.
Don't matter at all. It loses value. You learn about values, it loses value.
Real quick, did you like? I mean, I'm hearing you talking. You like you said. I just sense a humility about you, a focus, someone that took life seriously. Of course, you know we all make mistakes and we do things, but for the most part, you seem like a solid dude. I just want to touch on your background just a little more as far as your upbringing. Did you have any kind of spiritual, religious upbringing, or was that a foundation in your family? As far as religion-wise, like I don't. Because it seems like, I hear when you talk, when you say like spirit, spiritual, you listen to your spirit, certain things that you trigger on, touch on.
I'm a spiritual person, period.
Okay.
I'm a spiritual person. Daggone, bro, you touching, wow. I say that because my family knows I'm very spiritual. I mean, we might have to save that for another time, bro.
He said it's the essence of me. Listen,
yeah, I'm one of those sixth sense type. I can tell if it's, if you're genuine, if you're not. I have vivid dreams. I could go on and on. People don't think I'm weird though, but it's fine because it's me. I'm a very spiritual person. If you look up someone that can speak or communicate, that's me. I can communicate in a way, whereas, if I have a dream about something, I will call you up, RC, what's going on, bro? Everything all right with you? Everything all right? You be like, nah, what's wrong? What's happening? I'm like, okay, just check in. I had a dream, do your mom drive a Toyota, such and such? Make sure your mom's good,
Got you.
I'm that person. I'm that person. So just to give you a little insight, I'm that person. Yeah.
Got it. They say, so, but look, so whoever's listening, they really don't come on with the BS because I'm going to read you. I'm going to pick up on you.
Oh, yeah.
Then you getting over on me. He tapped in, y'all. He tapped in.
Oh, yeah.
But that's good. Because you know what? I'm quite sure even the profession you have and being an entrepreneur, having your own and just coming up the ranks 22 years in the game, you touch a lot of heads. And I feel that as a barber, you have opportunity to touch a lot of lives at the same time. People come into the barbershop with the issues. They could be talking about their wife, their children, sports, whatever's going on in life, you hear it in the barbershop.
Anyone that knows me and been coming to me for years know that and that's just not me, but any barber, but from my experience and the person that I am, I can tell if something's bothering you. I can tell if you're faking that day, and I'm like, what's going on? And like, what are you talking about? Like, nah, something's off. What's wrong? Or I won't say anything, and at the end of the session, I say, you know what? Let it go. Whatever you're going through, let it go. It'll work itself out. Trust me. But the stress that you're holding on to right now it's not beneficial for your health. Let it go. Now look at me like, thanks. Like, I didn't say anything to you. You don't have to. You brought that energy in here, and I can feel it. So take care of that. And that's why I think not only me, but a lot of people trust in barbers because they purge. People will purge. People will talk to us. People will open up. And I'm not going to give you the best advice, but I'm going to give you the right advice.
Right.
Detailed for you.
Right.
I'm going to say, well, life's going to change. Pray 3 times and you'll be fine. No. I'm going to give you something specifically for you, and that's it. Right. And I don't want anything out of it. I just want people at the end of the day to leave with something more than just a haircut, but to feel, to feel like, what they did was probably whack, but they can fix it. It's going to be all right. Some people feel less than when they come in, but after a couple sessions with me, they find out that there's nothing wrong with being them.
Wow.
Self, and that's, to me, that's golden for me, that's golden. So yeah, it's way more than a haircut, and I just love what I do.
So it's way more than and it shows because even interacting with you, to see how you're so passionate about what you do. Like I said, the conversations that we've had has been like extensive, has been like life conversation, a grown man conversation. Just we thinking on a whole other level, another plane that most people don't really.
I met you in what, late August.
Right. Yeah. August. Yep.
Yeah, late August. So no, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's definitely been a vibe from there. I want to make a transition real quick because I want to get into you as an entrepreneur. I want to get into how the whole Studio 77 came about, and because we already talked about the coronavirus, the COVID, the quarantine, and you had just bought a house in July. The prior year you had just bought a house in July, and then 2020 come rolling around. You enjoyed it for a while, bam.
Damn.
Not even a year you had your house. The funk hit the fan with a brand new house.
Mm-hmm.
In West Orange.
Exactly. So, you know what? And it was a blessing because, like I said, something we can't predict the weather. You can plan a pretty picnic, like you said, but you can't predict the weather, right?
Come on, Outcast.
Yeah, there you go, right? Last year when we closed in the house, it was an accomplishment for me. Because, we bounced around just like anybody else, trying to fix our credit, trying to figure out life.
Right.
Trying to figure out life, how to do certain things. Me being a barber, trying to get things done the right way. We had some help. We were living in an apartment in East Orange, on Linux, not the best. And we sacrificed that for 3 years, bought a house, boom. Closed last year, which was cool. And then, like I said, COVID hit not too long after,
COVID hit, the barbershop started shutting, everything started shutting down, and we're like, I got a brand new house. I gotta pay mortgage. I got bills.
It didn't hit me that hard though. When it was like, dang, I got a mortgage to pay because I sat and I thought about it and I said, number one, if I didn't get this house and going through COVID, I went through a whole lot more, because I wouldn't have been able to have the space to operate out of. And I had to think about a lot of other barbers that don't have this type of space to operate out of,
right.
So when I say, when you listen to your spirit, I really feel as though this house came and it was meant, because had it been this year I had to get the house, then maybe it wouldn't have happened.
Right.
And if I didn't have this house, if I didn't have this particular house, I don't think it would have worked out the same way. And COVID, when it did hit, I thought about it real fast and I said, okay, this is what we have to do. Right. A lot of people don't understand. Like, I've been through way worse situations growing up.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into details about that. At least not now. But
right.
It's a lot some people don't know. And hard times. So for me to come up with a solution about the COVID situation, it was like, I have to do it. I gotta go. Boom. My family comes first, no matter what. And when my spirit says, do it. I have to listen. So that's just exactly what happened. I just listened to it, and it was like almost like not even a second thought. It was just like, let's go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it seems like that's where you receive a lot of your peace from. You listen to your spirit, and you follow that spirit, which is tied to your peace.
Absolutely.
And you go with it, and when you go against it, then you suffer the repercussions against the spirit. It's like, hold up.
You know what? I'm one of those people that experience swift karma. My karma comes fast, like almost like bang situation. You know? Yeah, that's my karma. My karma says, "Oh, you think you're gonna do that? I told you. All right, this is what I'm gonna do to you."
So you learn quickly to listen to your spirit.
Oh, you learn fast. Yeah, and it keeps you in line. It keeps me in line. It keeps me in line. Yeah. That karma, that's a swift pitch right there, boy. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't mess with her.
I guess you were the ones that said, "No, you know how some people have a little more grace. They could, go out and do it. You said, nah, we gotta keep doing it straight and
No,
narrow."
I have to do it now. I have to do it now. Because I won't be able to be a man and look at my daughters and say, I can't.
Right.
I grew up not being able to ask my father for things. I grew up having to take care of a household at an early age. You're talking having a summer job and giving your mother your check.
Wow.
Like I was young, I'm cutting hair and getting groceries, stuff like that, yeah, but none of us were stingy. We were very grateful no matter what, that we still had each other, no matter what we go through, I could still ask my brother, my sister, my mom for anything. We've always been like that, always been tight knit,
Wow.
So it to us, it came second nature, it's survival.
Wow.
Family comes first. Yeah.
That's amazing. Even with that, like I said, like you just dropping jewels and nuggets after nuggets, about how you were raised and, taking that passion, taking the negatives of your life and turning it to positive and wanting better. And which is allowing you to be a better man, a better husband, a better father, a better friend, better business owner. It touches on so many areas of life. I know you have girls, but I know, going through the barbershop, obviously you cut a lot of boys' hair. Have you become like sort of like a big brother or mentor to a lot of young men?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? That's almost like asking, how can I say, a athlete, if they're, what did they call them? Not the, not an inspiration, but they call them a role model.
Okay.
A role model. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, and it's almost by default because you spend a lot of time and you watch these young men grow up.
Right.
And you actually get to know exactly who they are. We're able to correct some of their mistakes growing up, like we're their uncle, or, yeah, plenty of them. I watch grow up, and they'll send me pictures. I still have picked their baby pictures when they first got their haircut. Then some of them are 20 something now. Some of them in their maybe early 30s or whatever. Yeah, a lot of them, man.
I actually had
They come through and check on me, or they come still get a haircut. And they grow up fast, man.
wow. And you know what? I can attest to what you're saying because I had the opportunity to meet, a few of the ones that you've been cutting since they were little. And I know some come in there, it's like you definitely like the big uncle, big brother, or father, so to speak. And we're like, what you acting up for? You ain't doing this. Sit in this chair.
Exactly. Sit in his chair and stop it. A little boy will come in with his father and be all good. He's sitting there, he's cool. When he come in with his moms, and it's like, they try to act up a little bit.
Right.
It's like, not getting away with
moms all the time.
Mom. There's nothing different. Sit in his chair, chill out, and get this haircut. That's it.
Right. Wow. So you now, and the fact that you embrace that role and you understand the position you are in to be able to be to affect their lives in a positive manner, being that role model, that's just great in itself. Because especially we as men growing up, we need positive role models. I don't care if you're black, white, whatever you are. We need positive role models, but definitely in our community to see a man like yourself taking on that responsibility and being hands-on and not saying, well, it's not my kid, I'm just gonna cut this hair and get money. And like you said, it's more than just a haircut.
It's a relationship. Yeah, you grow a bond with these kids. You grow a bond in a relationship with most of them. And it's something that's organic.
Right.
And I wouldn't trade it for the world. Because when I see them out in public, if I see them, I'm like, look, some of them need a little tug here and there. Look, man, what are you doing? Pull your pants up.
Right.
Absolutely. What are you doing out here?
Right.
Okay, your mother know you out here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna call her. Get home time now. All right, you shouldn't be hanging out here at this time. I know what goes on. Go home.
Right.
That's that old school, from the 90s type, you know, looking out for your neighborhood and looking out for
Absolutely.
your kids. Because the OGs, when I was growing up, used to do that to me. You know, like, look, man, go home, man. You know, you're not supposed to be out here. We know your mother. I'm going to tell your older sister, you know, so got to go home, you know.
And that's what we need more of nowadays. So, you know, just to fast forward a little bit, now, like you said, you started out with just a regular lawn chair in your basement studio, which wound up turning up to a full-fledged Studio 77. Like, it's just a story, the transformation of the pictures and what you showed me and what you started with to where you are now in just a short span of time. Absolutely amazing.
Man. Yeah. Because I was anxious, man, and I said, dang, I lived in my basement. It was a clean slate down here. And I just stood there and looked at it, and I said, yeah, this will work. You know, this was before they shut us down. I said, yeah, this will work. This will work. And I said, okay, now I have to get a barber chair. I have to get a barber chair. This will work. But when they shut us down, I couldn't find a barber chair. So I said, oh, man. So I had one of my chairs outside. It was one of my chairs on the deck. And it's an all-metal chair, and it kind of rocks a little bit like this.
Right.
You know, so I had to put like a piece of wood under it to level it out so it won't rock as much. Yeah, and I had this one light, and I put it up here. They can't see it right now. It was one light up here. And I was rocking out with that. And I dressed up the chair with a cape, and I took a picture. And it's still on Facebook. And I put it on Facebook, and I just shot it one time. I put one picture up, right? And it was like, oh, and it was like people was just starting to hit me. So I had a couple people I started cutting, and I don't want to lie right now. It was maybe about 3 days after I started cutting, I found a barber chair from this young man in Newark. His wife was doing hair in the house, and she stopped using the chair, whatever the case may be. So that was the first red chair that I've got. So I went, put it in the back of my truck, came. I was excited then. Barber chair, it was leaning a little bit, but I didn't care.
It was leaning a little bit.
Yeah, it had a little gangster
lean going on.
So I said, whatever. So I got the chair, I got it down here, I took a picture, and then it was just the slow progression. You know, I had the chair now. Now I said I got to get some lights. Now I have to get a shelf. Now I have to really start building into it. And it didn't start out saying, I'm going to stay here. It was for the time being, you know. But as it started to take on a life of its own, it said, it basically told me that you can't go nowhere. You can't go anywhere. You belong right here.
This is home. Now it's like it was like you have arrived.
Yeah. And it was like, you started on your new journey. This is it. And it was scary. It was scary, bro. It was scary, man. It was scary because I always had that back in my head, like, oh man, well, the barbershop's open back up.
Wow.
You know, I might have to just go back, you know, because that's like my second home. You spend so much time around your bros. You spend so much time around the people that you work with. You spend more time with them than you spend at home. You know? Like, I know those guys like the back of my hand.
Right.
You know? So to go.
That was your family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, but it's that part of me, my spirit said it's time though. Don't act out of fear. You know, grow. It's time to go.
This is like a story that you turned like tragedy really into triumph. You know, people, everything going on, and people dying around from the coronavirus, and you hear all news reports and all stuff going on. And the key thing that you have said throughout this entire interview was you listen to your spirit.
Yes, you have to.
And your spirit is your navigation system to get you through over the rough terrains.
Well, spirit not gonna lead you wrong, man. People fear itself.
Right.
You know, but when you have that faith and your spirit is telling you to do something, just know you're gonna be all right. Wow. It's not gonna be easy, but you're gonna be all right.
Gonna grow.
Everything you thought you never was gonna make it through, you still here. You're gonna be all right.
Wow.
You're gonna be A-okay because you still here. You still standing. You're gonna be okay. That situation you thought was gonna take you out, guess what? You're still here. You're gonna be okay. And I had to keep reminding myself that. Because as much as I could say it, I still had that doubt. I still had that fear. And it was like, can I do it? What's gonna happen when the barbershops open back up? Are they gonna come back to me? Do I have power to still have my customers and still grow? You know? Because there was a lot of people coming to me. Of course, their barbers weren't there. The barbershops was closed. A lot of barbers were cutting. That's fine. They came to do it. They was getting haircuts. I kept some of them left. That's something that I prepared myself for. It's the reality of life, But I had to prepare myself for the reopening, and the days that led up to it was the day after Father's Day that they opened the barbershops back up, and I kept getting more and more nervous. And I was like, Dad, I should go back. I should go back. Nah, my spirit like, nope, you're not doing that. And when I made that final decision, I said, single swim, stand right here. And that was it. And it was like that first day after Father's Day, that Monday, it hit hard. I was like, I haven't not worked in a barbershop since '98.
Wow.
It was my first time since then that now I'm on my own. I'm doing it myself.
Wow.
Scary, but fulfilling, man. Yeah.
So you felt that fear, but you didn't allow that fear to paralyze you or stagnate.
No. You gotta walk towards it, man. Gotta walk towards it.
You face the music and dance.
Gotta face it, yeah. Because sometimes when we fear things the most, we fear out of what's the worst that can happen. Not the thing that's gonna be. Maybe it's gonna, affect you a little bit or whatever. No, we all fear the worst. The worst thing that can happen. That's what we fear the most. And it could be like, you're fine. So that's what happened, man. I didn't let the fear take control of what is supposed to happen. Right. And sometimes fear can redirect you and keep you from going into what's supposed to happen. Wow. Your path.
It's so funny you say that was supposed to happen. It was a clip I watched, and I watched periodically from time to time when Diddy was coming up, P. Diddy, and he said, I can't deal with what a reality is supposed to be, it's supposed to look like. He said, he's a visionary. He said, I gotta take it to where I can see it. I can't deal with what it's supposed to be. You gotta make your own reality. You gotta go after your own dreams. You have to go after what's that thing burning inside of you and be true to yourself.
That's it, because you know what you want to see. Right. We all start off with that idea. Then it becomes a vision. And in order for that vision to become a reality, you have to work towards it. Wow. And I think that's what keeps us going. Until we're able to see that vision and for it to come into fruition, that's what keeps us going. And it's like, no, this is my vision. I can't stop until I see this come through. Wow. I have to keep this vision. Because if not, I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to get mad. I'm going to live with resentment. I'm a lash out at the wrong people, and it's not their fault. It's my own.
It's not.
It's eternal.
Wow. We're definitely going to, not to cut you off, because you dropping some jewels here. Like, we're going to let this simmer, because we only maybe got about a minute and a half remaining, because we've been on here for an hour already.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So what I want to do is, before it shuts down on us, I want you to give the people their your information, how they can book with you. Those who are in the North Jersey area want to come by Studio 77. Yeah,
North Jersey area. You're looking for a barber. You're looking for a consultant. Come see me. I'm at 77, Studio 77 in West Orange. Book on booksy.com. Download the Booksy app. Look up Philly the Barber. I'm in the North Jersey area. Studio 77. Prices, everything there. And I hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. And also, if you're not following Maury on Instagram, do so right now. Philly the Barber is Philly _the THA _Barber. Correct? Philly the Barber. So definitely dope individual. We're gonna have some more sessions. So don't think we just leaving y'all. We're gonna be coming back with some more. We're cooking some things up. He has a lot of more jewels to drop. And And we just getting warmed up.
Damn, bro.
We just getting
Yeah,
warmed up.
we didn't even get to tip the iceberg yet, man.
That's why I want to let them simmer on this one, a little marinate in this for a little bit, and then we're gonna bring it back at another time. But Philly, I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to interview you. God bless you, your family, your business, and everything that your hands touch, bro. You have a blessed night, okay?
You too, man. Take it easy. Good night and God bless.